Sup nerds, today is April 9th, 2013, and it is day 9 of Vlog Every Day in April. So today I am going to be doing a little dream tag that I saw on Christina Horner's channel, aka I Talk to Snakes, where basically you just talk a little bit about your best, worst, and craziest dreams you've ever had. Like she said on her video, you know, most people, when they're telling other people about their dreams, they feel like it's really interesting or it's exciting or something. But most of the time when you are on the receiving end of a dream story, it is generally pretty boring or uninteresting and just doesn't make a lot of sense. And I totally understand that, but I thought it was an interesting thing to do. I actually, a few years ago, did for a little while a dream blog where I just would wake up and try to like type out what I could remember of my dreams right away. And I thought it was just kind of an interesting way of documenting like what's going on in my head while I'm sleeping. And I don't know, there may or may not be any meaning at all behind any of that, but either way, it's just kind of fun to see what's going on. And, you know, eventually if someone were to try to be able to lucid dream, I guess that's one way of helping yourself get closer to being able to do that. So I'll try to keep these kind of short and sweet, to the point, to get rid of some of the junk that isn't as interesting or whatever about dreams that make people not really want to listen to dream stories. I'll start with one of my favorite dreams that I can remember that I had. The setting was at this bridge over a little creek back in Iowa, where I'm from. And back a while ago, for a couple of summers, my friends and I would go out to this bridge and jump off of it into the creek. And it was probably like 30 feet high or something like that. So it wasn't too dangerous or anything. It was just a lot of fun to go and like swim around, jump off, hang out, go walk around the banks and stuff. And I always thought it was one of the most fun points of my life so far as just having a lot of friends around, being able to go out on awesome summer days and jump into the cool river and hang out, float around. So in this dream, I was at the bridge and I was standing on top of like the guardrail on the side. That's where we would usually get up to go ahead and jump into the creek. So someone else was already down in the water and I was getting ready to go and join them down there. And so as I got ready to jump, something felt a little off. And I was like, what's going on? So I was just gonna jump off and see what happened. So I was gonna do the usual countdown, 3, 2, 1, jump, and I'm in the air, but I'm not falling. For some reason, instead of falling, I just start flying. Flying right above the river, and there was always this power line that went right across the river, right near the edge of the bridge. And I was really scared that I was going to run into the power line if I couldn't get control of my flying. So anyway, I just flew around for a while and was like, hey guys, I'm flying, check this out. Look at me up here. You guys are down in the water, but I'm up in the sky. So that's basically the gist of that dream. I was just trying to jump off a bridge with my friends into some cool water in a hot summer day, and I ended up flying around and missing a power line. So the second dream, the worst dream that I've ever had, and this was actually kind of a recurring dream I had when I was a lot younger. I can remember the setting was like in a big city, kind of like New York or something, right in the thick of it downtown. There was all these big tall buildings and shops and stuff on the streets that were really narrow, and it was nighttime. And I remember, for some reason, I could like feel that like the apocalypse was coming, and I was trying as hard as I could to like escape it. So I kept walking down all these streets and like looking for ways out of the city, I guess, and there was just these shops, but there was no one else around. I couldn't find anyone. There were no cars, there were no people walking. It was just empty shops, like the zombie apocalypse had already happened or something. So I was walking around looking for a way out, and suddenly streets just start blowing up and lava starts exploding up out of the streets, flowing around, and I'm like, oh crap, I gotta get out of here. This is not good. This is really bad, in fact. So after a while of searching, I finally found there was this one little kind of shop that the whole front of it was like gone. It was just not there anymore. So I go in and I see this little like portal. Basically, if you've played the game Portal, it was kind of like one of those things just on the wall. And somehow I knew that that was the one way out of the city to safety. So I tried to make my way up there, but all of a sudden there's this guy that appears. It was kind of a mixture of like the devil and Dracula, I guess. I don't know. I think he had a big black cape on and he just looked all scary and gross. And he was guarding the portal, but he wouldn't let me through. And I was I didn't understand. This is the only way out of the city that's about to like explode and erupt with lava and burn to the ground. And if I don't get out of here, I'm gonna die. So I guess I kind of tried to reason with him, like, why won't you let me out? I need to get out of here, help me. You're the only one that can save me. Which in retrospect is kind of weird, like pleading with the devil that he's the only one that can save me. But anyway, after trying to convince this guy to let me through the portal to safety for a while and failing, I just started wandering around the city again and seeing more of these like erupting streets with lava everywhere, and there was less and less places and space that I could go without like getting burned by the lava. And it almost turned into one of those games where like you can't touch the carpet because it's lava, you know? Like, uh-oh, gotta keep your legs up and you gotta like jump from here over to the bed and then onto the chair or whatever. But it was like really real, and I was going to die kind of situation. And then at some point, finally I go back to this guy at the portal and he is just still not having it, and I get scared, and then that's usually when I wake up. I think there was once or twice maybe where when I was really young and I woke up and I was crying, and then my parents came in and comforted me. I can't remember if I ever really told them about that story. So anyway, that was a pretty traumatizing dream in my younger years. And dream number 3 is like your craziest dream. So this one isn't really that crazy, it just was kind of weird and actually it's pretty fun. The setting of this one was I was driving a school bus, like, you know, big yellow school bus, and I was driving up this big mountain that was like pretty narrow. It was almost like a cylinder, and it was super high, and the road up this mountain basically kind of spiraled up around the outer edge of the mountain. I was driving up and I was with 1 or 2 of my friends from like elementary school or something, and I was driving up, I was just like, you know, big giant wheel. Oh, I'm driving a school bus. Heh, we're having fun. We're not at school. We're skipping school to drive a school bus up this giant spiral mountain. So we're joking around and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna drive super fast, because I think this was actually before I was, you know, able to drive, before I was 16. So I was like, yeah, I'm driving this thing. What up? So and this is where it gets really interesting. So I lean over and I'm like, hey, check this out. I'm gonna get going real fast around this curve. So I start going really fast in the school bus up this spiral mountain that's like, the road is right on the edge of the mountain, all the way up. So I'm getting up this mountain, I'm going super fast, and all of a sudden I lose control. I'm like, oh crap, I can't, it's too sharp of a turn now, I'm going too fast. And the bus flies off the side of the mountain, starts falling, and we are like so high up at this point on the mountain that we're falling for like so long, and then we're like, okay, we gotta just climb out of this bus. Let's climb out of the bus. So we open up, you know, I grab the little thing, the doors swing open, and we climb out and get on top of the bus, because at this point the bus is like turned on its side, and we climb up onto the side top of the bus as it's falling down, and then we're like, okay, this is probably it, but hey, at least we skipped school to drive a school bus up a giant mountain. And all of a sudden we can see the ground coming closer and closer and closer, and we're about to hit it, and then we just bounce. We just bounce right up. The bus bounces, and it bounces again, and then slowly comes to a halt. Very peacefully. I remember it was a really nice sunny day, so it was just too perfect. And we're like, hey, yeah, we just like fell off a huge cliff driving a school bus, and we survived. So we gotta do this again! And that's usually when I would wake up. I was just so excited to drive up this spirally mountain again on a school bus, freaking purposefully jump off of it, and then just bounce. So anyway, those are a few of my dreams that I can remember pretty vividly still to this point in my life. Because while most people don't really care about hearing other people's dreams, it is just fun to talk about them. So do you guys know who Mika Kitty is? Because if so, you probably know what this shirt is and what it means. It says, faucet water is the water of gods. And that's a line from a song that her and Luke did, and I kind of guest starred in the video for that a few years ago back at Echo Base, and it was a lot of fun, so I'll put a link to that over on the Nintendo wall. And if you'd like one of these shirts, I believe you can still get them from her District Line store. So I believe that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I will see you nerds tomorrow. So anyway, we're just out here having fun with the bubbles, and we're at a park, so of course a bunch of people keep walking by, some children, and they are just loving it.